Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Get Bucked. I'm your host, Ryan Anderson, bringing on now my co-host, also from the West Coast. That's Jackson Muniz. Jackson, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Let's talk some Pacific Classic Day. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Absolutely. We're going over the early pick 5 on Pacific Classic Day. That's races 1 through 5. We'll give our thoughts on the Pacific Classic towards the end. Obviously, I think we got to start with some big news coming out of that race this morning. The favorite and the mare, Adair Manor, is going to scratch from that race. Baffert this morning said that I guess she pulled up tight or something after her gallop. So not 100%. So, doing what's best for the horse. But this field is now, it's like a grade 3 at best in terms of just overall talent. It's unfortunate for sure. Hopefully you still get a good race out of it, but that definitely hurts the aspect of the
it's not as exciting as it was 24 hours ago, but I think it could still be a pretty good betting race.
Should be a good betting race, honestly.
Real quick.
So, might as well just get into that while we're on the subject. We'll have here. I can pull up the PPs for it if you want to just kind of kick us off with what your thoughts are.
Yeah, at this point, I don't want to take a short price on anyone, and it seems like Dr. Venkman's going to get bet a lot, as well the other Baffert now, Reincarnate, and I don't trust either one of those two. No one should be a short price in this race, right? It's not the greatest field ever.
Absolutely.
Ran 2 weeks ago. Now he's shipping out here. It's just there's a lot going on. I'm really interested in Katona. I was gonna bet him last year's Pacific Classic. He got hurt right before. And last year's field was much, much stronger than this one, obviously. And I was fully prepared to take him to back him that day. So against these guys, and he's going to be at least 5-1, I would think. I'm pretty interested in him.
Yeah, I want to see what the revised morning line comes out and says, because obviously things are going to change around a bunch. Your new favorite, I think, without a doubt, is going to be Dr. Venkman, coming off that strong San Diego handicap win. A horse I think, just got a little more interesting. Yes, just shipped across the country, but I kind of like Ir Miracolo, in this spot. Has been, a hard trier against, graded stakes company. This field, though, is pretty weak considering, the caliber of race that this is. So I think this horse might be able to, get in there for a price. So, I don't want to take a short price on anybody. I still think Dr. Venkman deserves to be the favorite here. I think he has definitely the best shot of winning this race. I like your pick in Katona. And then, I think I'm going to try and pivot to Ir Miracolo. Maybe hope to, get a win on top, because all of a sudden the paired up buyers of 99 in his last 2 are going to, that's probably going to be what it takes to win this race with Adair Manor out.
Especially those gun runners, they keep getting better with age, and if he's ready for a peak performance,
they do. I know he just ran in the Iceland Stakes, and he's coming back out here, or he's coming out here. Got to think it's a trial for like the Classic with the distance and everything, and it being at Del Mar. So that's going to be interesting. Definitely going to be a test. Going to be the longest he's ever gone, but gun runner out of a tap at mare, I don't see an issue with the distance there. He's gone a mile and a half in the Belmont. Obviously that didn't go great, but he faced, Arcangelo and Forte. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. I don't think those guys are in this race.
No, I don't believe so. We get the Katonas and, the reincarnates of the world this time. So
I'm a little surprised no one else shipped out here. Especially with the Classic being here this year, and no one took the Mucho Macho Man or Vino Rosso route to come out here.
I know.
Get a prep over the track. And
I didn't get it either. I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 more big names to come out. Maybe a horse. Oh, sorry. Maybe a horse like Batten Down to, I don't know, ship out instead of running in the Travers like he did. But I know he's 3, so I guess that's a stretch. But
right. Yeah, but those 3-year-olds are a lot faster than this group. So
they are. But they all opted to stay in New York, and that's fine. We got the Jockey Club Gold Cup out there in Saratoga this weekend. That's a pretty good race, and we'll find out. What's going to be the key race between the Pacific Classic and the Jockey Club Gold Cup when it comes to Breeders' Cup. But this race, in terms of strength, is certainly not as strong as years past. But it should, it should shape up to be an interesting
winner. It's going to win the race, so we're good.
There we go. There we go. All right, yeah. As I mentioned, we're gonna handicap this early pick 5 here. So let me just pull up the past performances right now. We'll get kind of right into it. We'll start with race 1, where we're a little different. I picked the race 652. You picked it 216. We'll start with you and the number 2 non-compliant first-time starter for Bob Baffert.
Yeah, well, at first I think it's a little interesting. Neither one of us are fans of the morning line favorite, Usha. I don't know. 9-5. He's lost twice now, odds on, and really had zero excuse both days. And this is, for these 2-year-old fillies, everyone with their big horses targets opening weekend and they target Pacific Classic Day for that maiden race. So this is probably a much tougher field than even those 2 other fields she's faced. So I'm not surprised that we're not fans of her today. And it's interesting that Kimura is riding instead of Hernandez. Hernandez goes to the other Baffert, who is he's my top pick in non-compliant. And I watched one of his workouts from the other day. He worked out with a colt named Gaming, who came back and crushed about 2 weeks ago at Del Mar. It was a pretty good maiden field. He beat that day. He smoked him. And non-compliant was arguably the better horse that day in the morning workout. She broke better than him and was hard held the whole way, with heads up. One of those typical 6 furlong Baffert workouts, and she looked really good. So, and again, it's telling that Hernandez shows up here rather than the other Baffert.
Absolutely, I looked at that kind of the same way. I faded both Bafferts with my top two picks here. Yeah, I had no interest in Usha. Really, as you said, no excuse in those first 2 races, and just Hernandez hopping off was kind of a big tell for me, just because he does get first call. So him wanting to ride non-compliant over Usha makes me think, maybe he sees more upside in that in this horse. That work with Gaming was definitely a strong one and should give him a pretty good shot at being in contention here. My top pick was the number 6. That's Margarita Girl for Mark Glatt. Antonio Fresu is aboard. I really like this horse. I like the draw. I like Glatt first time out. These are some sharp works with a bullet 2 back and a couple sharp ones, bookending that one. Sire's 18% with first-time starters among 2-year-olds, so that's a stat I kind of like. I like that kind of just general precocity in there. And then I mentioned the snapping works or the snappy works rather. Nothing really pedigree side on the dam side. I think the dam was unraced and then the Grand Dam was unraced, so really not much to go on in terms of precocity from that side. But I think this is a race where I don't know. It came up a little light for a maiden 2-year-old race on Pacific Classic Day than what I thought we would get. So I just kind of like the outside draw. I think he's working quicker than the Bafferts. Not that means he's going to, show more speed necessarily, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Speed obviously has been great at Del Mar all summer, as it usually is on the dirt. So I'm hoping he just gets out to the lead and doesn't look back.
Yeah, I wasn't able to find any workouts on this horse to watch, and Glatt, for whatever reason, wasn't in the 2-year-old meet preview article that he's usually in it with, and it lists his best 2-year-olds. For whatever reason, he wasn't this year. So I really was blind on this horse. I'm going to try to get some workout reports maybe tomorrow and see. But obviously she's 5-2, so they must think she can run a little bit. I'm not surprised.
Definitely. There must be some sort of word out.
Yeah.
And then, Rancho Temescal, part of the ownership group, they definitely aim for this meet. So that's also something, maybe, I don't know how much you want to look into that one, but all the numbers just kind of pointing that way. And I'm just trying to beat the 2 Bafferts here because they're going to take a lot of money at the window.
Always. Yeah.
Before we move on to your number 1, I do want to say, if you get anywhere close to 9-2 on this Baffert horse, that is a hammer, but I don't know that we'll get anything like that.
I almost want to say if she is 7-2, then that's a little too suspicious for me. Like, they know something. I don't know.
Someone knows something, and normally that Baffert money is right.
I feel like she'll be favored probably, but who knows? We'll see.
All right. Yeah.
There's No Faith was just another one, cost a ton of money for Mandela. I was able to watch a couple of her works from back at Santa Anita in July, and she looks like she's got a little bit of speed, a little bit of acceleration. I'm not sure if she'll be fully cranked first time out as a May full, and she missed some time, obviously, it looks like. But 10-1, got a chance. I really like the 2. The 2 is gonna be my press in this race. And then I actually was a little interested in your 5 horse. I know if you want to talk about him first.
Yeah, definitely. I do like I do like the one Grace by Faith. I thought maybe bred a little more for turf, so I was thinking
Yeah,
maybe a starting off point, but you can't ignore that strong 27% with a 262 ROI from Mandela at the first time starters.
right.
That's really strong in a field like this where there's not a whole lot to go off of, and there's not a whole lot of consistency with the morning line favorite. Yeah, it's definitely a place where you could find a price, and 10-1 is definitely a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my number 5 that we can talk about, Magali, I don't know. Daughter of Vekoma. That was really what kind of drew me to pick her second. Was that precocity that Vekoma's had this year is phenomenal. Somewhere close to 30% with 2-year-old first time starters, which is an outrageous number, and the sample size has got to be close to 40. We can actually go and take a look at that. But yeah, 2-year-old first time starters, 29%, 12 for 41. With 10 more in the money. That's pretty outrageous considering the the sample size at this point. So hopefully that continues. I know when Vekoma first started, it was like 80% through like 12 runners or something like that. He's had a wild run as a start. But yeah, so Baltus is not strong with first time starters. Ayuso on board, don't really know what to make of that. Like they don't use each other. I don't have any stats on them using each other. Not much on the dam side to go off of. The works are average. As I mentioned, Baltus isn't known for the firsters, but again, field like this, maybe price shopping a little bit. How'd you see it?
I was actually able to watch her works on XBTV, and although the times aren't quick, visually, I really liked what I saw. She looked really good. Was doing it the right way, doing it easily, and drawing away from workmates pretty easily. Again, I don't know who she was working with. I'm not sure how good that company she was keeping was, but she did it the right way. I don't mind Ayuso riding for Baltus. Baltus has been on record several times saying he doesn't mind giving the non-top jockeys giving them chances. So I don't mind Ayuso riding. He's doing pretty good on the dirt, especially at this meet. But the big thing I don't have in my top 3 is Baltus typically gives him a start or 2. That's why I couldn't quite get there on top with her. But I definitely think she's going to be one you want that Sanita moving forward and start
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Baltus definitely doesn't crank him up first time. I was just thinking, maybe Vekoma's just doesn't care about that. Just
he
just runs to that precocity.
He's 30% for a reason. So
yeah, exactly. All right. So going to race number 2 now. Pick this race different again, same in third, but I went 8-6-3. You went 4-7-3. It's a 16 non-2 lifer claiming going 6 furlongs on the dirt. We'll start with your number 4, the Big Chizola. I've always loved that name. What drew you to this horse?
Yeah, I've given up trying to beat the track bias here. I've been waiting all meet for the inside bias to flip to the outside like it always does every single year, and then we're in week 7 or 6 now, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm looking at horses that have ran pretty well that were stuck 3 or 4 wide on the dirt last time out, and that kind of fits what happened with this horse. Didn't break great. That's the biggest issue with this horse is he's got to get out of the gate. He breaks half a step slow almost every single time, and it costs him position. I'm hoping today, now he's on the inside, even if he does break half a step slow, he'll just tuck right behind the speed and he'll be able to get through late. Not a bad effort last time. Again, he broke slow, then he rushed, made an early move to go wide, and flattened out a little bit in the stretch, but I didn't hate the effort. So obviously, you can toss the race 2 back. He threw the rider. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna be forward. He's 8-1, and this race gave me a headache. I don't know about you. They all look kind of the same. There's 12 horses, non-winners 2. So I'm gonna take a price that has figures that fit, has tactical speed, and should get a pretty good trip tucked right behind the leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all the points you just made. Yeah, this race was a headache and a half. Yeah, 12 runners, just an absolute crapshoot. I didn't really come up with anything too creative. I landed on number 8 Magic Account as my top pick. I kind of like the works coming in off this layoff. Maybe shows to me that he's ready to run. Maybe it's just, one of those cheap speed works where you're just trying to like show him off for sale, but they're not putting him in for much of a tag. Bottom level claiming off the maiden 20 win. That kind of fits for me. Fresu, I love Fresu riding on the dirt or on the turf. Riding for Hector Palma, who's always has a pretty like steady meet. They're hitting at about 17% right now, but a small sample size. But pretty much just landed here. I like the draw outside. While speed has still been great all meet, I think the inside speed is, I mean, it's still good, but I don't think it's as strong as it was, maybe that first couple weeks of the meet where it was ridiculous, to say the least. I think it's, any speed is good speed. So I'll take the 8. I'll take Magic Account. Again, nothing too creative. I did like that win. I don't love that it's he's coming off a layoff to get into this spot. But hopefully the works are, a sign that he's ready to run and not just, hey, look at this horse. He can run fast. Go ahead and buy him, please.
There's nothing wrong with that in these kind of races. We want horses that run fast and you can't catch them.
Absolutely. Number 7, Pat's Paddock pick is your second choice. Ran earlier in this meet as well. Is this a similar type of bias, or how'd you see this pick?
Yeah, he come out of the same race as the Big Cheezel. He actually beat him that day, and just another one that is going to be forward and ran pretty good last time in a similar spot. Has speed. Victor, I like Victor in these situations when he's on speed horses that are going to be stalking or on the lead. This is my type of Victor horse, and I keep going back to that race 3 back when he ran huge that day. It was I think that was an above average field for this level, and it was super hot pace. He was in between rivals, cleared the field, and just couldn't quite hang on. And that's, I think, why you see that lower figure that day, and you see he's progressed since then. I'm hoping today will be the day, and 4-1, just really logical horse. Nothing too clever here.
Definitely. In my notes, the first thing I wrote is today the day with a question mark, because this horse is always kind of right there. He's always, in that good tactical spot. He just can't seem to finish off those races. So one of these days he is going to beat me, and he clearly loves Del Mar being, all 3 in the money, second or better. Yeah. I'm just, I'm going to let him beat me, I think, in this spot. And then going to the third pick, though, we both kind of landed on the same horse. I'm curious to see how you came up with this horse in this spot. Beer Money going turf to dirt for Gary Studi.
Yeah, if this race happens to fall apart, I think this is the one you're going to want. This is his 4th race at the meet. Very cool. Hopefully Beer Money gets the job done at Pacific Classic Day, and I'm sure he'll make a lot of the more casual fans very happy if Beer Money wins. I know I'll be going to buy a beer if he does, and I have him on my tickets. And he's ran fine on the dirt. I mean, he's been in the money 3 of the 4 starts, and we talked about it last week. I love Kyle Frey. He's doing really good. He has his horses in all the right spots, and he knows that he's can't be last like he's been a couple times lately. He's going to have to be probably closer to mid-pack if he wants to have a chance. So he's going to be aggressive with this guy out of the gate. He's shown plenty of speed in the past. He's going to have to get back to that. But if the race comes apart, he should be the one making a move at the end. And Absolutely. I think he'll get higher than 6-1. I'm just guessing. I think he'll be a little bit better price than that.
I feel like we will. I think your 7 Pat's Paddock pick is going to take some money. I think Magic Account's going to take a good amount of money. I also had, number 6, I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit, Mr. Big Heart. I just thought this horse was also interesting. I picked this horse second. Just, going same angle, kind of dirt or turf to dirt, excuse me. Andy Mathis, I love where he places his horses. He's normally pretty smart at knowing where his horses belong. Wasn't bet at all in that last race, going off at 21-1. But I do like these, low-level claimers or beaten claimers or anything like that. If a horse has broken their maiden in a maiden special weight, that normally shows that they had a bit of talent one way or another. Yes, it was up at Golden Gate, but I still think that's going to kind of translate a little bit here. And yes, he's got to go and take that form onto the dirt. I think being at a Mr. Big, he should be okay. Again, this was mainly just kind of a trainer angle. You're going to get a good price. I'm just kind of thinking, come up with something creative in addition to, having some speed. So if the race falls apart, though, I do like that number 3 Beer Money. I think he's going to be the one there to pick up the pieces. I think he's got the ability. And then, I just kind of like this number 6, kind of in the same sort of scenario, and turf to dirt. It's a new angle. Maybe it wakes him up.
Yeah. And I don't think I mentioned this with the 3 horse, but it applies to the 6 as well. Pretty big drop in class from what he's been facing his last couple starts. So can't go wrong,
Absolutely.
especially at 10-1. And Raylu's been riding great. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good race to try and find a price. I kind of had the 2 underneath a little bit, just that inside speed. But I think the cutback is just going to be a little too sharp for him. I think he'd be better at 7. All right, moving on to race number 3 before we get into our stakes action. Let me throw our picks up on the ticker. In this race, I went 2-1-12. You went 4-1-2. Before we kind of get into your number 4 horse, I do want to touch on both of us faded the 2 favorites in this race. That's the number 11 Spy Catcher for Mark Glatt, reported as a first-time gelding in here, and the number 9 Middleburg for Bob Baffert. Both of us faded this, so I'm curious to see how both of us, got to our alternatives in here. So why don't we start with number 4, Glanford.
yeah, I got a couple of fun stories about my picks in this race. This is the horse I played in the Little Red Feather contest a couple weeks ago, and I was all in this horse to win the contest. I loved him. And if you scroll over to the right just a little bit, all you'll see in the comment line is brutal trip. And yeah, he's had a great trip the whole way until about the quarter pole, and the front runners backed up straight into him, and he pulled up so bad. It was I couldn't even be mad about it. I'm like, oh, that's horse racing for you.
Yeah.
So, but I like I said, I loved him going in that race. I really liked his race 2 back when I think he was in the same race as Nation, who's gonna be one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
He hadn't ran in a year, and he stalked a hot pace. He was the first one to make an early move. He was wide making that move into the fastest part of the race. Got the lead in the stretch and just got a little tired late. And that's from a trainer that usually gives his horses a race off the break. And I thought it was a great effort. Big effort. I thought he was going to bounce back and run big. Obviously, that didn't happen. But now he shows up here, and he's 15-1. He's got another good post. Kyle Frey takes over. Again, I love Camara, and you lose nothing with Frey, though. So going to give him another chance because I think his horse can run.
Absolutely. That's a great bet back in here. You see he was 7-1 last out. Now you're getting 15-1, and I definitely think you're going to get every bit of that, if not some more. Yeah, Georgie's been hot this meet. He kind of heated up. He heats up about midway through the meet, and then he just kind of goes on that tear where he's just kind of knocking down winners, and he always kind of comes in at prices. So this is a great bet back for sure. Will not talk you off of a 15-1 ever. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good pick, and I'm definitely going to be using this horse underneath, with how good that run was 2 back. I think that showed a lot of ability. And then, yeah, that having brutal trip, in your running line is definitely something that, you can look at, going forward. The only thing that kind of made me not be able to, pick this, horse on top was just, he seems to have, some issues, whether that's hitting the gate, breaking slow. Brutal trip, I won't necessarily blame on him. But again, I'm not trying to talk you off 15-1 at all. I think that horse with a clean trip has a lot of ability and a lot of talent. So yeah. I think you're in with a good shot for sure. So yeah, you lose nothing with Frey, by any means. I went with number 2, Broheim on top, who you used underneath as well. Yeah, reasons I like this horse. 2 pretty good turf runs here. Coming third off the bench, which is an angle I like. Obviously, you get JJ Hernandez, so nothing to shy away from on that one. 9-2, I think you'll probably get close to that, maybe 4-1 or 7-2. But I think the 9 and the 11 are going to take a lot of money, especially Spycatcher, with those kind of standalone buyer speed figures. But I like the post for Broheim. I think he's going to sit a good trip. He should get kind of first run with that decent tactical speed that he has. So yeah, I'm just hoping he sits the trip, and no one better than Juan to give him that ride.
No, yeah, this is the other horse I was going to talk about. That opening day, last race of the day. My whole family is there. All my cousins, uncles, blah, 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 and we all bet this horse to win. And he was 8-1. I think we probably had like $400 collectively on him to win, and he got nosed out, and it was brutal. The horse came out of absolutely nowhere. It was so sad. But
that is a brutal one.
Yeah, he's very logical in here. All the reasons you said, 9-2, basically paired up buyer tops, and he's going to, like you said, a lot of the favorites are stuck on the outside. This horse is going to be saving ground the whole way. So he's
absolutely
a lot more makes a lot more sense in 9-2, I think, than those favorites on the outside.
Absolutely. We'll move to number 1. I'll let you talk about this one. We both kind of landed here, which is interesting. 15-1, and the horse is and Ready to Rumble for Peter Miller. What attracted you to this one?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is it's interesting that Peter Miller reaches out to Hector Berrios to ride this horse because they do not team up very often. I think they only have a couple of races together. Haven't won yet, but I don't care about that. It's only been a very small sample size, and he's shown plenty of ability. I mean, look at he showed up in the Del Mar Juvenile Turf last year, and he finished a good fourth against Endlessly, who's probably the best turf horse out here as a 3-year-old, or Bullington's probably the second best turf horse out here, and then Voltage is a pretty solid horse too. So he kept good company as a 2-year-old. You can just toss the comeback race because Miller gives his horse a start. And then last time he ran fine. That race completely held together. It was a merry-go-round. He made up plenty of ground. And now he's had 2 starts off of 2 sprints to a route. He should be ready for a big effort. He gets Berrios. He's going to save ground every inch of the way. And he's 15-1. So I think he's going to show up with a big race today.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I like this horse in this spot as well. I love the 2 sprints to the route angle, as you mentioned. He didn't disappoint going the 2 turns as a 2-year-old. And yeah, he kept great company with Endlessly and Lord Bullington in there. Endlessly, I don't know what they've kind of done managing that horse, but he needs to get back on turf, or stay on turf. But I love those 5 furlong races before the stretch out where they just kind of run in place. To me, that just kind of screams that they want to go longer. Again, that race definitely held together. That was one of those kind of merry-go-round races that we had kind of early on in the Del Mar meet. But again, I think he's bred for it. He was post 9 that day. So he did save a lot of ground in that trip. Raylu gave him a pretty good ride, but again, the race held together, and he just kind of ran in place. So I'm looking forward to that stretch out. I think it's really going to be a good fit for him. And as you mentioned, Hector Berrios taking them out. There's nobody I want on a turf router more than Hector Berrios right now, because he's seeing the turf really well. So yeah, I'm definitely in lockstep with you where that 1 and Ready to Rumble is going to be a top play for me.
Yeah. Any particular reason that you're against the favorites in this spot? I mean, I know
Yeah.
I'm just curious about yours.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So I'll start with number 9. This one's pretty simple. I don't bet Baffert on turf. Unless it's Bajor. That's the only horse that I'm actually, I was on Betting and Boozing yesterday. Everybody go check that out. But that was one of my picks in the turf, in the Del Mar Mile, I think it is that race 11. I finally picked him. That's the first time I've ever picked him on top because he's beaten me so many times, especially at Del Mar. I don't want that to happen again. So that's the only Baffert I'll pick on turf. I just don't. Obviously, one of the greatest trainers of all time. He's not as good on turf, and his horses always take money.
Yeah.
Another reason, we mentioned this in the first race. Hernandez hops off this horse. JJ has pick of basically anybody he wants in every race, I'd imagine, and he chose not to ride for Baffert in here for popular connections with SF Racing, which he normally will ride for. So that was also something I looked for. He's had 3 tries on turf now. He's been the favorite in 2 of them. I just think I was over it. I didn't want to do it. And then the 9 hole is not a great post. So he's going to lose some ground more than likely. But yeah, I wasn't going to burn money on this horse.
Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. So he's had 3 pretty good trips back to back to back, I think, and he just hasn't gotten the job done.
Definitely. I'll let you take this one for number 11, Spycatcher. Why'd you also fade this favorite?
It's kind of the same reason. He's had his chances, and now he's coming off another year layoff. He obviously has his issues. He's made 1 start in the last 20 months or so, and I mean, I'm sure he's first time gelding. He's Glatt. He's Frazu. He's going to get bet just because of that. And I think this race is deeper than that. I think this might be the best betting race of the day, to be honest. It's definitely up there. So I was just hesitant to take too short of a price on a horse that has a lot of question marks from the 11 hole. So that was my big issue with him. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. This horse is just too many tries for me without getting, a lot of piece of the pie, never the whole pie. Bred great. obviously cost a decent amount of money, has run and kept really good company, ran in the Del Mar Derby and the Hollywood Derby and came in second in both of those. And then comes back and is under even money and just can't break the maiden. Given Dandy Man Shines is a decent horse. Third place finisher in there, Calm Sea, is a good horse for Georgie. But yeah, coming off another layoff of almost a year at this point, 5-year-old maiden. There's just a lot to go against, even though those connections are strong, even though Glatt's really strong off the layoff. This was just a horse that I was not going to use on top. This is the horse I got to beat.
Yeah.
All right, before we move on, I do want to talk about number 12. I picked this horse third. That's Nation for Michael McCarthy, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners, and Raylu Gutierrez. I like this horse. Obviously, the post position sucks, drawn out wide at number 12. I'm hoping Raylu can kind of find a decent spot. And if you can find a decent spot, I think this horse is good enough. It's really just going to come down to the trip this horse gets from the wide draw. Raylu's going to have to get over some way, somehow. He's had a couple runs with different running styles. That run first time out at Keeneland, he dropped way back and then made a decent run behind Wayhill Road, who I believe is trained by Shug. And then last time out at Del Mar, earlier this meet, he was kind of tactical, sat a couple lengths off, given he drew the 3-hole in both of these. So right now he's stuck way out in the 12. But I'm hoping, he's shown two different types of running styles, really, from way back and then mid-pack. So I'm hoping maybe he can use that to his advantage and maybe drop in where there's a gap and just try and save some ground. That's really the only hope I have. But I feel like this horse is kind of getting better, or at least has the potential to. So I'm just hoping this horse gets better. And was the favorite in both starts. Being the favorite at Keeneland is no small task. With the fall meet, the spring meet, whatever you got, it's a lot of competitive races. And yes, he was trained by Grand Motion, but I'm hoping sits a good trip, makes a good run, second off the bench. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think that's all the more reason to like him. Is Motion is not good first time out, and he was favored at Keeneland going long first time out. So they obviously think he can run a little bit.
Absolutely. And he hasn't disappointed in those two runs. I don't know exactly who he lost to with the Visible By and American Glory. They haven't run back yet, but fires a bullet coming in. Maybe today's the day for Nation. Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners also been having a great meet so far. So let's just hope that continues. Want to move on to race number 4. This is the Torrey Pine Stakes, going a mile for 3-year-olds. We picked this horse. We picked this race, kind of similar with the horse on top. That's number 3. That's Hope Road. I'll let you touch on this one.
It's Baffert. He's speed. He's fast figures, and she has looked really, really impressive in both her starts this year. So I mean, she'll be very tough to beat. And that maiden field she beat has been super productive. One Magic Filly came back to win. Normandy Queen came back to win. I think someone else came back to win. I can't think of who it was, but it was a really live race. So
yeah, absolutely. They improved their buyers. Like this race was loaded with talent. Yes. Absolutely. It's not too creative to how I landed on this horse either. Switching to Baffert, 2 sprints to a route. That's a great angle. Quality Road out of a Blame mare, bred to go and run for as long as they want. Yep. Wasn't great. It's a 2-year-old, but I mean, lost to Dua, who was a decent horse on debut, and made up a lot of ground. I believe I bet that horse that day. I feel like I lost money on Hope Road, and then lost to Tamara, the daughter of Beholder, who I was hoping to see run back at some point, but
I think she's back in training again. So
okay,
I think they're hoping for Sanita. That's what I understand.
Okay, good. It'd be nice to see her run again. But yeah, anyway, Hope Road, the maiden field, super live. And then when a Baffert gets going like this, and you have 2 open length victories, and you're stretching out to a route, watch out. JJ obviously aboard. Cicero Farms is a private purchase for this one. And then as soon as he got into this barn, she really took a step forward. And I think she made a good jump from 2 to 3. And I think she's just gonna go for it. We'll go to your second choice. That's the number 5, Omaha Girl, for George Papadrodromou. Going turf to dirt. What kind of was your approach on this one?
Yeah, so I really liked her last race, and it was against a pretty salty group of older allowance horses on the grass, like you said. World Charter won on San Diego Derby Day by like 3 lengths on the turf. Smoked these another good group. She smoked those horses. Your one there is Stakes Place, and there's a couple other horses that were pretty good in that field, and she beat them pretty. She won, and she did it, but not the easiest trip ever. I know the pace looks pretty soft, and it was, but she got the lead. Then Umberto, I think it was Umberto, made one of his typical middle moves where he takes off on the backside, and now all of a sudden she's in behind horses and has to re-rally. And she did. She did it the right way, and she won and held off some really good horses. And she's now basically paired up by her tops. And I know she's going turf to dirt, but if you look at her form as a 2-year-old, she was going dirt to turf to dirt, and those figures are all about the same. So I'm betting that the improvement in the figures isn't just that she switched the turf; it's that she's just an older, more mature horse, and they paid $400,000 for her. So there was definitely a lot of they expected a lot from her at one point, and she also ran in the Breeders' Cup last year, so they clearly think there's some quality here. She's not going to be on the lead today, and there's a lot of speed in here. I know Hope Road is probably the speed of the speed, but you look at the 4, you look at the 6, and I believe the 2. All their best chances are go to the front. So if for some reason Hope Road gets sucked into a 21 and 44 duel on the front end, I think this is a horse that you want to watch out for coming from behind.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely didn't disappoint on those 2 turf tries. George going to the dirt is not bad at all with the 14%. Winner's last out. Georgie knows how to get him to win right back. Yeah, kept some good company. So I'm definitely not going to talk you off of that. Definitely some good expectations here with the $400,000 purchase. Has been running good. If he takes to the dirt, or if she takes to the dirt, did it again. Then yeah, definitely going to be a big threat if there's a pace meltdown, because there is a shit ton of speed in here. Every horse wants to go. I guess that's kind of the one knock on Hope Road, the 3, is that you really just got to hope that, it's one of those Bafferts that can learn to relax when stretching out and learn how to rate that speed. Because if not, we might be in trouble, or that horse might be in trouble. I'm going with my second choice. That is number 7, Nothing Like You. That is the other Baffert. Kazushi Kimura gets on board here. This horse has some speed, but is also able to be tactical. Had a good second last time out in the Summer Oaks at Santa Anita. Second to Sugarfish, who's a decent trained horse, was the favorite in there, so obviously disappointed. But this horse has beat Kinza, who is one of the strongest horses in training when she was running. I'm not sure if she's still running. I think she ran Pimlico Day, if I'm not mistaken. There's a chance I'm wrong. Anyway, yeah, I'd have to look that one up too. But yeah, this horse has tactical speed. The race 2 back in the Santa Anita Oaks makes her a big player in here. Obviously enjoys the 2-turn trip. Not nothing else too creative. This is just kind of that other Baffert angle, where if Hope Road, gets into a pace duel or can't rate that speed, Nothing Like You should sit a decent trip and knows how to close and knows how to win races.
Just so you know, Kinza hasn't raced since that race, San Diego Oaks, and she hasn't worked since May. So I don't know what's going on there.
Got it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, this is just other Baffert angle. That's always a danger in a race like this, or really any race where he has 2 runners. So yeah, Nothing Like You maybe can close from off the pace, and yeah, we'll see if there's a pace meltdown, because there's a bunch of speed in here.
Yeah, this is the obvious exacta horse, right? Is the 2 Bafferts, because this is the one that's going to close, and she's pretty good. I have no idea where that San Diego Oaks came from, because she was running 78, 79, 72, freaked, and went right back to 75. So I don't know. That was the day where Frankie Dettori won the first 7 races on the card, and this was one of them. So maybe it was on that day. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but she's pretty obvious in here as the second choice.
Definitely. The 6 Grand Slam Smile is a decent horse in here. Never out of the exacta in 8 starts, so obviously a hard trying horse. Just has not faced the company of this, so couldn't quite pick her on top or even underneath. Really, maybe that's dumb, seeing as she is a really hard trying horse. Maybe this is gonna be a big jump up for her. But yeah, I like your 5 and Omaha Girl as an underneath pick. And I think Desert Rhapsody, before we move on, is the last one I want to talk about. This is more speed. Last time out, it looked like two back when she broke her maiden. Yes, the speed figure was light, but coming back to romp and the optional claimer next out, I think that was kind of like a light bulb moment for her. She seemed to just know where the finish line is and just hit another gear. So I'm interested to see how she runs and see if she's able to rate her speed maybe a little bit, because I don't know that a 46-3 half mile is going to be able to get you home in a race like this, because there are going to be some horses that know how to finish, and that's going to be pretty fast. Right. But I'm thinking, maybe she sits off of Hope Road and they just go 1-2, and maybe, Desert Rhapsody is going to be on the outside path. Maybe she's able to just kind of overtake top of the lane, and who knows if she'll be able to power home and get by. But yeah, interesting horse here for sure if she can step up again. All right. Race 5 is the Grade 2 Del Mar Handicap. Let me throw our picks up for us. Saw this race the same on top. Went to number 7, and then I had 6-2. You had 7-2-5. So I'll have you start with number 7. That is Gold Phoenix. Phil D'Amato for Kyle Frey. We both ended up here. So yeah, what was your angle?
Yeah, originally I was kind of hoping to try to beat him. I loved him in Eddie Reed. Made one of my biggest win bets of the meet, and he was 11-1, and he just never ran. He never had a chance to run, I should say, because he was just stuck in traffic the entire way. He never once got clear the entire race, and he was loaded, because once he finally got through after they crossed the finish line, he just galloped out way in front of the field, and that's just kind of what he does. And now he's 5-2, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to beat this horse. Let's go back and watch the replay. Let's watch everyone else, and I don't know. I just didn't really love the way anyone else ran in that day. Dicey Mochar kind of had a perfect trip. He was second best. Balnikov, I guess Balnikov could be interesting as an alternative because he's never tried this before. But I'm completely against Masterpiece, who had every chance to do some running that day, and he couldn't even hit the board. And Gold Phoenix just loves Del Mar, and he loves this race. I think this is the third year in a row he's running in it, and he loves the distance. And I think people forget he was 4th in the Breeders' Cup against the best horses in the world, and now he's facing these guys at Del Mar playing his game rather than playing their game. So, and I also really like that, again, Kyle Frey, he was a lot more aggressive with him 2 back in the Whittingham, because I don't think he can be dead last in this race. There's not a lot of speed, so I don't think he want to be more mid-pack. So Frey's going to see that. He's going to be more aggressive with this guy, and he's going to put him in a spot where he's got a good chance to win. And I just think he's the best horse in the field. The only other alternative I possibly looked at was like the 5, who didn't come out of the Eddie Reed, but Rock Emperor, even at his best, was always like a step below even the horses out here on the West Coast. So I just couldn't get there with him.
So. Yeah, I'm in agreement with Rock Emperor. I just couldn't find him on top. Yeah, loved all your points on Gold Phoenix. I think stretching out from the mile and an eighth up 2 furlongs to the mile and 3/8, I think that's going to kind of bring him into the race more. And I just don't think he has that early foot to kind of keep track of it or keep up with everybody. And yeah, I think Kyle Frey, second off the bench, he's going to have a good run of it. His last 2 races that are coming second off the layoff have been wins. This follows that same pattern, so I'm hoping kind of for a similar result here. Last year he had the same prep. He did win the Eddie Reed, and then he went on to win the Del Mar Handicap. This is his 3rd year in a row doing it. And yeah, I'm hoping for a 3-peat. He obviously loves the distance. As you said, he loves Del Mar. Yeah, 4th in the Breeders' Cup behind August Rodin, who's probably still the best turf horse in the world, or at least up there with, the city of Troyes, who I guess is running in the Classic. And then, yeah, up to the Mark, who I believe either beat or lost by a nose to, I forget the name of that Euro for Appleby.
Master of the Seas.
Master of the Seas, thank you. Yeah, obviously that horse, ton of talent. And then Shariar, who I believe was the Japanese runner, has kept awesome company. So I'm with you. I think Kyle Frey gives him the right trip here, and I think that gives him a real shot. Unlike unlike you, I did go back to Masterpiece here. This was my single the last time he ran at Del Mar in the Eddie Reed. When I saw Dylan Davis left Saratoga, I was like, okay, that they're showing intention here. He's not going to come out for nothing. You know, got to play him. Didn't do much running, just kind of random place. He's getting a little older. He's 8 now. I think maybe that the ship just took a lot out of him because he didn't, back up terribly or give me any terrible red flags. He just didn't quite finish that race off. So I'm thinking maybe second off the layoff, he gets to kind of stretch out again, where he's had 5 chances going this distance. 4 of them have been in the money. Interesting enough, he's run it Del Mar 4 times because he used to be trained by Michael McCarthy way back in like 2022. So he's finished 3 times in the money. So he does enjoy Del Mar, which I think is a big, obviously, horse for course kind of track. So I think maybe second off the layoff, he gets JJ Hernandez. I saw him work the other day, and it was nothing spectacular, but it was a good work. No doubt about it. So I'm really hoping.
I'm not mistaken, he won this race 3 years ago, I believe, and he paid like $52.
Yes, he won. Yeah, he 3 years ago, and then the last 2 have been Gold Phoenix. So yeah, we have the past 3 winners of this race. The past 3 years, past 3 winners of this race in this field. So Masterpiece can definitely handle the trip. He can definitely race or run really well on his best day. I'm hoping today's the day, or tomorrow's the day. So Masterpiece, I don't know. I think he deserves one more shot for me. I think the connections want to get him into the Breeders' Cup, into the turf maybe. I'm not quite sure what their full plan is going to be here, but this is the horse that has kept some good company. Ran in the Arlington Million, although didn't run great. So yeah, we'll see what he does here. I'll give him one more shot. If he can't get it done, that'll probably be curtains for me on this horse.
Yep.
Yeah, the divorce papers, exactly. Yeah. You picked the number 2 and second, so I want to go and have you talk about him. That's Dicey Moshara, who I also picked in third. You mentioned you got a perfect trip last time, but you're still kind of willing to put him underneath and bet him back. What'd you see here?
Yeah, for horizontals, I'm singling Gold Phoenix, single A, no one else. I don't need anyone else. So this is more like a trifecta exacta play. And he got a really good trip from last time from La Prida, and now he's getting Barrios, who's again best turf jockey here because Umberto is at Kentucky Downs on Saturday. So Hector is going to get every single turf mount probably. Yep. But it's just another horse that loves these longer races. Seems like he's rounding back into form, and he's going to save ground every inch of the way and has a good kick. So, and he's 8-1. I don't know why. I don't think he's that much more unlikely to run well than some of these other horses. He beat them all last time. So I don't know why he's 8-1, but I think he's a good horse to key underneath.
Absolutely. 8-1 was confusing. He'll probably be down in the 4 to 5-1 range if I had to guess, coming off that last run. But I mean, I guess the reason would be you do have, I believe we have 1, 2, 3 Phil D'Amatos in here. Yeah. So they obviously are just going to take money based off of that alone. But I think Dicey Moshara is going to be an interesting horse. I don't know that he is going to be up to the level of Gold Phoenix. I'm with you. That's a pretty strong A for me, although not a single. But yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting play because I think you do have a lot of unknown, I guess, in what his ceiling is. Second off the layoff, maybe can pop big, but definitely an interesting race. And that morning line anywhere close to that is a good bet, just seeing as he beat all these last time out.
Yeah. And also on Saturday, they have the Pacific Classic contests. Mm-hmm. And in that it's big money, and people are going to be betting these stakes races heavy. So, and they usually bet the favorites in those races. So if you like a horse on top, such as Gold Phoenix, everyone else that's a short price is going to be open bet. So if you like the 2 horse to get second, you're probably going to get really good value on it rather than your typical Thursday afternoon.
Absolutely. Yeah. You should get some good value in this race. This is a great betting race. As is that other maiden special weight that we talked about, the route on turf. Awesome. Well, those are the first 5 of the day. I do want to put up our pick 5 tickets that we made here. We set our budget for $50. So I'll start with mine. I went 5-6 in the first. That's the Vekoma firster with the Mark Glatt firster. And then I went 6-8. That's that turf to dirt that I mentioned, and then the probably going to be the favorite Magic account on the outside. Third race, I went 4 deep. I went with the 2 inside runners that we talked about. I went with the number 4, who you also used. That's Glanford, right?
Glanford,
yeah, Glanford. And then I like 12 Nation. Fourth race, I went 3-7. That's both Bafferts. Just didn't want to get beat by the other one, really. And then last race, I went 2-6-7. So the 3 horses we kind of talked about there, that's Gold Phoenix, that's Dicey Mochara, and Masterpiece for a $48 pick 5. And then do you want to talk through yours?
Yeah, mine are just again trying to beat the favored Baffert in that opening leg. Gonna try to get through with just 3: the Mandela horse, the other Baffert, and the Glatt horse that you picked on top. Second leg, I'm 5 deep. I'm probably gonna end up adding your 6 horse, the Andy Mathis horse you talked about. Just I don't really have a strong opinion in that race. Gonna try to survive in advance. And then the third race is where I'm gonna try to get a little separation because we have the 1 horse is 15-1, the 2 is 9-2, and the 4 is 15-1. So if we can get a price home in that race, we're gonna get some real separation there. Fourth race, Hope Road. And I'm also going to pick my 5 in there. I'll probably come back and play it again for a much bigger denomination with Hope Road singled as well. And then obviously Gold Phoenix is my single because he should be tough in that race. So $45, and let's just try to get a lap to Gold Phoenix. Gold flipping Phoenix, as they call him.
Gold flipping Phoenix.
I don't think
I like that. Yeah, no, this pick 5 definitely has the potential to pay. If I'm not sure if Usha in that first race will be the favorite, but if he is, I think that's a very, very beatable favorite. So I'll probably end up using the 2 as well. That first time, the other first timer the first time starter for Baffert in this ticket. I'll probably play a B ticket somewhere where I single Hope Road and I single the Baffert firster just because I don't want to, get burned that way. But Gold Phoenix, I do like that horse on top. I'll probably play some, exactas and trifectas, keying him on top because I think you can probably get a good price underneath. And then definitely, I was kind of thinking, third, fourth place for Glanford for like my trifecta, superfectas. Yeah. But I think after we spoke about it, I'm probably going to have to use him in second as well in some plays because I think coming off those trips, if he can get a clean run at it, especially with those 2 favorites going to be to the outside, I think you can have a real shot at getting a good price there.
Right.
That's
good. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. The Pacific Classic card is a good one. I think there's 11 races on the day. Let me go see. Yeah, 11 races on the day. 5 stakes races. I like how they split them up though. So we get a couple in the early pick 5 sequence. We get a couple in the late. And yeah, should be a good day. Although I think we were talking about this yesterday, the pick 6 that day and the pick 5, like the sequence is either going to, pay $100 or it's going to pay, 5 figures somewhere. Yeah. It's just I have the feeling it's going to be one of those days at Del Mar.
Yeah. I think the one I'm interested in the most is probably the Green Flash. I haven't really handicapped it too much yet, but we talked about all the favorites on the outside and it's a 12 horse field, and Del Mar, it's turf sprint. You want to be on the inside. So I'm going to hope that I find something interesting towards the rail and at a giant price there to try to blow it up.
Yeah, I kind of saw that race the same. I was just going to, throw 1 through 6 on a pick 5 ticket and just, hope for some chaos from the inside there because, with all the favorites drawn to the outside, that's definitely an interesting one. The Del Mar Mile is a little interesting as well. Just with there's not an abundance of speed in there. And I think, that might compromise de Jour's trip. So you might be able to find some prices underneath. Should be a really good sequence. And then who knows with the Pacific Classic, with the scratch of Adair Manor that we mentioned, there's any number of horses that could take that spot with a number of unproven runners in there going the 1.25 miles. Who knows? It might be a little chaos. I don't think we talked about in the Pacific Classic. There's John Sadler for Horonis Racing Runner, and I've heard he's pretty good at running in this Pacific Classic, and he knows how to win.
Has he won this race before?
I think so. I want yeah, of course. Won like 4 of the last 6 years, and obviously with that monster in Flightline.
Yeah. And he'll be
So
on the lead, which, as we've said,
yeah,
all meet has been good. So who knows?
absolutely. Yeah, that horse flew first time out. We're talking about full Serrano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that he can go that fast again, but I mean, if he comes back out, and the ship from Argentina was not that's not inconsequential.
No.
It definitely could have taken something out of him, but he came and he fired. So second off the bench in that race. He's handled the mile and a quarter before, I believe. So if he can, stretch out, given that was in Argentina, but if he can stretch out again, hey,
Yeah,
who knows?
and he'll be one of the prices too. I would think so.
Yeah,
I really don't think you can go wrong with anyone in that race now. Now with this.
Yeah, now that Adair's out, I don't think you can either. I think it really opens it up, and it's gonna be a fun race.
Yeah, let's hope
Awesome.
for a 6 carryover today. That's
right. Fingers crossed for that. Once again, there's our tickets. I'm going to change it over to this banner. Thanks so much for watching today, Jackson. Appreciate you joining me. I look forward to seeing you next week for closing weekend at Del Mar. It's gonna, I can't believe the summer's already over. That went quick.
Yeah,
that always goes fast, but it's been a great summer as always. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Thank you everybody for watching, and peace.